Hello, you kings, queens, court jesters. Isn't that the beginning of Cider House Rules or something? I don't know. Hi, how are we doing? I am so excited because I'm going to be doing the bar and the bookcase tag, originally done by the bar and the bookcase. His name is Jalen, Anna. You can call him by his name. What a fabulous, innovative, unique tag. Wow. I saw it floating around and I was like, wow, I hope somebody tags me. And of course, my boy KD did, which also a significant amount of you are new to my channel because of him. So here's just a video of him in the background so you don't feel like he's not always with you, you know? It's very special. But I was so excited. He tagged me and I was actually hungover when he did. So this is just the most perfect tag for someone like me. Yeah. So the bar and the bookcase tag, so excited to do this. Without further ado, let's get right into it. First and foremost, old-fashioned historical fiction recommendation. This is kind of hard for me. Any of historically oriented books I usually read as like a memoir or a nonfiction book in itself. So I don't really read a lot of historical fiction, but I dug through my memory bank and I found that there was Sacre Blue by Christopher Moore, which I read a little while ago and I remember liking it. So this is set in 19th century Paris. It follows Henry de Toulouse-Lautrec. You were so wrong! It's Henri de Toulouse-Lautrec, I think. It follows him and his counterpart as they are investigating the suicide of Van Gogh. They believe that he was murdered, so they're following that. And there's all of these pop-ups of Renoir, Manet, Monet, Whistler, all of these historical painters in 19th century Paris. And they're popping up and they're having fun and they're crusty and they're dirty. And it's kind of a little bit of a gross book, I remember. It's definitely not going to be for everyone. Christopher Moore has also a very particular way of writing. It might be a little cringy. So if you want not a, depressing historical fiction, but a fun, upbeat, weird one, Sacre Blue is for you. Also, I hate that book cover. I hate it. My friend gave it to me and I despise it. But moving forward, Sidecar. This is a book with a strong supporting character. I'm gonna make this one easy. I'm also gonna go a little bit off the path of probably what a correct, strong supporting character is and get a little funky. I'm gonna go with The Pisces by Melissa Broder. You know I've talked about it. You know I've done it. The only reason that I'm saying that this is a strong supporting character is because it is committed to memory so deeply. It's gonna be the merman, Theo, the merman. I don't think he's strong in the sense of likability, but I think he's strong in the sense of very, very memorable. Very memorable, That's my strong supporting character. Third, book set in Manhattan, which is everything I read. Oh, I just lost my I would say I'm gonna go with two memoirs for this. It was hard to narrow it down, but I think that they're in the same vein of portraying New York. I would go with Just Kids by Patti Smith and Chelsea Girls by Eileen Miles. I actually think that I was turned on to Eileen Miles because of Patti Smith, so perfect tie-in. These are two memoirs of living in 1970s New York and how grungy and how kind of difficult it was to make your own in New York at that point. And they portray love and relationships and the gravity of friendships at that time period and how much it meant to be running in a circle, things of that sort. And they're also very art-oriented. Two fantastic female writers. If I had to choose between the two of them, I would definitely say Patti Smith is my favorite, but I did also enjoy hearing Eileen Miles' voice. So I don't know what happened. I do not know what happened to me in this tag, but at this point in the line of things that I was supposed to be doing, it was Bloody Mary, which is book that scared/messed you up, which I conveniently forgot to put in the lineup. But for this one, I'm not exactly suggesting this book. I'm just going more on the impulse of what it did to me, which is mess me up. But I would say The Heart is Deceitful of All Things by J.T. Leroy. Talked about this in my January wrap-up, but it is the last book that genuinely messed me up. It follows this mother. She's a lot lizard and she has a young child, and it depicts their relationship and how his upbringing manifests within him and just all of the horrific things that happen to him along the way at the hands of his mother and his mother's boyfriends and his mother's just conquests and bad decisions. So yeah, that genuinely messed me up. Really messed me up. So back to the regular programming. Espresso Martini. Book that kept you reading into the night. I would say the current book that I'm reading, Hidden Valley Road, follows a family of 14. There's 12 children. And 6 of the sons are diagnosed with schizophrenia. It's like a retelling of their lives and all of the obstacles that they have to jump through at a time when schizophrenia wasn't as accepted as it is now. Sazerac, book that left you disoriented. I would say Disgraced by J.M. Coetzee. Made me think for a very long time after I read it. Follows a teacher. He ends up having an affair with a student. He's disgraced and has to go live with his daughter in rural South Africa. And there's a lot of stuff that goes on with that. That is just like tip of the iceberg with that. J.M. Coetzee, I have a contentious sort of relationship with him, very strained. Sometimes I love him, sometimes I don't, but this is a great book by him and it's just dang. So then we have Long Island Iced Tea, book that is doing too much. Bonus points if it works anyway. A lot of the fiction that I read, it doesn't feel like it's too much. I like a chaotic book. So I was trying to do a nonfiction of this and I was thinking, well, maybe the Electric Kool-Aid Acid Test, which follows Ken Kesey and the Merry Pranksters and all of these acid dropping hippies as they go throughout the United States. But then I was like, no. Let's go back to the beginning. Let's do One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest by Ken Kesey, which it's a pretty well-known book, but it follows this mental institution and all of the characters in there. Fantastic book, fantastic movie. Book definitely differs from the movie quite a bit, so I do suggest reading that book, even if you have seen the movie. Fantastic. I'm not going to go too much into it. It's pretty well-known, but that I would say, it works anyway. Even though there's a lot of stuff going on with it, it works. It's one of my favorite books. So yeah. Negroni, book with a love triangle. This one was pretty hard for me. This is pretty hard. I can't remember a book in recent memory that I read that had a love triangle as like a catalyst to the main narrative of the book. But I did some searching in my head and I came up with, this is a stretch, but I would say 1Q84. I read that last year and I remember it's not like a very obvious love triangle. It's not like a scandalous love triangle. And without giving away too much about the book, I would say that I'm able to extrapolate on a love triangle and say that the 3 main characters in that book end up having, exchanges. I would say. I don't want to give away too much about the book, but I would say that that has a little bit of a love triangle to me. Bay Breeze, book with a light, chill, heartwarming vibes. Also pretty hard for me to do. I don't read a lot of chill, heartwarming vibes books, but I feel like I should. But I would say I'm gonna go again with like memoir-esque sort of books with this, and I'd say anything by David Sedaris. I love him. I think he's funny. I think that his writing is so lighthearted but bitter and just comical. He's confused at how people react to life and he writes about it beautifully in all of his memoirs. I would say the most recent one that I read by him was Theft by Finding, which is fantastic, but I would just say anything by him. I mean, I've talked highly about him in multiple videos, but I would say he's a pretty good one. He's a pretty good one, I would say he's a keeper. Okay, so Dark and Stormy, book that's dark, thrilling, and menacing. So I am gonna say The Beach on this one by Alex Garland. I remember reading this book and I could not put it down. It follows a young backpacker as he's in Thailand and he stumbles upon this elusive community in this very, very hidden portion of Thailand. and it becomes weird from there. I mean, it was made into a movie, which was horrible, really bad, but Leonardo DiCaprio is in it, so it's somewhat redeeming, and Tilda Swinton. The last like 100 pages or so, you just flip through. I don't even think you read every word because you're just like, I gotta know what's going on. It's thrilling, it's menacing, it's dark, it's great. I love that book. And then Martini, classic recommendation. I mean, there's quite a few that I would recommend, but as far as an accessible classic that I think everyone can read and everyone can get behind, I would say Animal Farm by George Orwell. I read that last year for the first time. Great book. Again, I feel like I have to get too much into the plot line of that. It is incredibly poignant for any time frame. Yep. So those are my books. Oh, I didn't even drink anything this whole time. Oh, well, I had water, so whoops. Okay, I'm gonna go get hydrated. Joke's on you guys. I was eating and I realized I didn't tag anybody. So now my drink is out. Yep. It's just water. Don't get excited. But I am going to tag Nthabi and Her Books. That queen over there. I also want to tag Bookish, Katja Weinert, and Duncan McCurdie. I'm tagging you guys. So cheers to that, my friends. Okay. Bye-bye.